And right now at 5, blue screens fill offices across the world. A tech outage brings businesses to a halt.
The biggest global IT outage that we've ever seen in the world.
It crippled operations everything from hospitals and banks to small businesses and airports.
We're just waiting.
Now they've canceled the flight, so we got to figure out what we're going to do.
And travelers stranded, sleeping on floors even, as thousands of flights are delayed or canceled. And at some banks, only the ATMs were working.
Couldn't go online. I couldn't go into my bank.
In the city, critical operations like the 911 system remained online. We're live inside the command center with a look at what held it all together. Good evening. I'm Dick Brennan in for Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. Now, officials made it clear from the very beginning that this is not a cyber attack. Everything started to go wrong overnight after a defect in a software update completely shut down computers across the world.
Of course, it had a widespread impact. Blue recovery screens and error messages were seen on work computers, at airport terminals, grocery stores, subway signs, and more. Airports across the globe filled up. As more and more flights were delayed and canceled, travelers were left waiting in long lines everywhere from airports to Las Vegas, Greece, and more. Across the U.S., there were more than 2,200 flights canceled and 7,000 delayed and counting.
To cover all of this, we have team coverage. John Diaz has the impact on banks and businesses. Carolyn Gusoff live at LaGuardia. Jennifer Bisram is live at the city's command center with the backup of critical operations. But first, let's start with CBS 2 investigator Tim McNicholas. He joins us now on how this all happened, Tim.
Right, that is the question. So not a cyber security attack, but a single glitch that caused all of those disruptions. We're talking about air travel, banking, and healthcare. Maimonides Health and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, for example, both had to delay some procedures earlier today. Microsoft says they're helping affected customers, and they blame the problems on a system update from the cybersecurity firm they use. A blue screen with the word recovery greeted Microsoft users worldwide Friday morning. The outage on full display, from blank billboards to flight boards listing cancellations. The CEO of CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity firm that works with Microsoft, telling NBC's Today Show the company is working to fix the issues.
We're deeply sorry for the impact that we've caused to customers, to travelers, to anyone affected by this.
He later posted on X Friday afternoon, vowing transparency and promising to take steps to avoid a repeat incident. CrowdStrike says a cyber update included a software bug that caused problems with Microsoft's operating system.
We identified this very quickly and remediated the issue. And as systems come back online, as they're rebooted, they're coming up and they're working. And now we are working with each and every customer to make sure that we can bring them back online.
Banks, airlines, television networks, and health systems around the world also reported widespread outages. The problems temporarily delayed arraignments in courthouses, including Manhattan Criminal Court, where staff posted this sign. While some Americans are learning of CrowdStrike for the first time, the firm is well known in the cybersecurity world.
They look for suspicious behaviors, they detect them, and they shut them down. And in order to do that, these tools need to be constantly doing content updates to their algorithms to look for those things.
FedEx says customers might notice delays, and employees at the UPS store in New Rochelle tell CBS 2 they're also affected.
This morning, it was slow and steady, and it was hard to get the job done.
Supermarkets, including Wegmans, say they're experiencing issues affecting inventory and deliveries. And a memo obtained by CBS News says the U.S. Department of Homeland Security systems were also affected. Dick and Christine.
How intricately we're all connected, right?
One glitch.
Yeah.
One glitch, and this all happens.
One company, a lot of eggs in one basket, you know.
Unbelievable. Frightening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. New York City's Cyber Command Center is in charge of protecting all city systems against threats.
CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram live inside the center in downtown Brooklyn now, where it has been a very busy day. Jennifer.
Hi, Dick and Christine. That is an understatement. It has been a very busy day for city officials. And where we are right now, this is one area where New York City Cyber Command monitors for cyber threats 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And officials say while today's outages were widespread and they were global, here in New York City, we only felt minimal damages or minimal disruptions. And that is because the city was prepared.
A global technology outage affecting businesses and government services Friday.
From early this morning, well incredibly well positioned and had a full understanding of what the scope was of the issue, the root cause, and steps we needed to take to remediate. And it's been an all hands on deck approach ever since.
Inside the New York City Cyber Command's watch floor and home of the Joint Operations Center in downtown Brooklyn, the city's chief information security officer says while the outages were felt here in New York City, they were minimal.
This is largely unprecedented, but we do have procedures and plans in place for emergency management and support of these types of issues. We have had citywide engagement for practicing, exercising our disaster recovery plans and COOP plans from more broadly issues that could be IT outages or cyber attacks.
Friday morning, the mayor and city leaders gathered at City Hall after cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike said it deployed an unexpected faulty update to computers running Microsoft Windows.
The blueprint was already in place. All we had to do was to execute on it. 9/11's core systems have not been impacted. Our infrastructure and emergency operations, they're all in place.
Our most critical services, 911 related, 311 related, we isolate and keep it in a separate environment, and we control what updates get pushed into that segment of the environment to ensure that in a situation like this, when something happens, it doesn't take down our most critical systems.
Some workstation computers and servers may still be impacted, and apps and websites for some city services, but officials say it's all being worked on.
If you go in to file for a permit or you go in to request some other service, you go to pay a bill online like a water bill or a parking ticket, you might find yourself in a position where those services may be offline temporarily.
This isn't a cyber attack, right? But that doesn't mean our work stops.
And city officials say, as you heard, the work does not stop, but right now they are in recovery mode. And again, they emphasize this was not a cyber attack. We are live from downtown Brooklyn. Jennifer Bisram, CBS 2 News.
The work does not stop. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Let's take a live look now at LaGuardia Airport, where today more than 150 flights were either canceled due to today's nightmare outages.
CBS 2's Carolyn Gusoff joins us live from LaGuardia with more on how today's travel felt a little like time travel. Carolyn.
It did indeed, Dick and Christine. Quite a difference a few hours have made. This terminal right here has cleared out. There have been so many cancellations that so many passengers just gave up and went home. But earlier, they told me that they felt like they had returned to pre-computer times. Kiosks for check-in were down, and flight announcements were being made by megaphone.
Just be patient. We're trying to get everyone on their flight.
A computer update that sucked global travel, fraying nerves here at LaGuardia Airport. Digital boards were blank. Travelers were grounded.
Just delayed twice.
There was barely room to squeeze into the Spirit departure terminal at LaGuardia, yet the baggage carousel sat still with few arriving flights. Mike Martinez found a way to keep his toddler distracted while he took a trip back in time.
And they're doing everything by paper, I hear, so they're writing everything out.
So it's like
we're back to the 80s.
If you're going to Fort Lauderdale, all right, stay to your left. If you're going to Detroit, stay to your right.
Wanda Hess was going to Detroit until her flight was twice delayed, then canceled. Then she had to try to land a rental car.
The website's down, so we can't even book a car at this point. It really is a shame on, how one website or one update can cripple a whole world.
Spirit took to social media saying the global outage is impacting reservations and flight operations, apologizing for the inconvenience. Lakeisha Moore was almost in tears after first weather delays.
Now they've canceled the flight, so we got to figure out what we're going to do. We don't know where to go. She's stressed out.
It's like going back to the 70s, going to the system where you get a boarding pass handwritten and your luggage is handwritten.
The nation's biggest carriers, American, Delta, and United, grounded flights overnight, then resumed some service Friday morning, issuing travel waivers allowing for changes. And look at that. You can see that the digital boards are back on. The kiosks are back up and running here at the Spirit Terminal. But you can also see that most of the flights on that board were either delayed or canceled. All told, at LaGuardia Airport, we've had so far 412 delays, 200 cancellations. Airlines are telling passengers to check with the Flight Aware website before coming to the airport to see what the status is of their flights. At LaGuardia Airport, Carolyn Gusoff, CBS 2 News.
Frustrating day, Carolyn. Thank you.
Like the guy said, back to the 80s. And at JFK, some passengers told us that on international flights, anyone without a U.S. passport had to remain on board after landing due to the outage. It's unclear for how long. Even passengers with American passports and global entry took about an hour to get through customs. It's also been a frustrating day at Newark this morning. Passengers lined up at the airline counters after flights were canceled or delayed. After waiting for hours, one family told us they were going to rent a van and drive to their destination.
Going to a business trip, but then out of nowhere, they just told us that it was all canceled. Yeah, we're planning to drive into Minneapolis.
It's terrible. People spend thousands of dollars to go on vacation or go home or go visit family, and this is the situation that we get put through.
And it is worth repeating, this really matters, check the status of your flight before you head to the airport.
Not just the airports impacted, the outage also affecting motor vehicle departments in the tri-state area. New York State DMV says its systems have now been restored for online transactions, but some in-person transactions may not be available. New Jersey MVC also experiencing service delays, and it will offer courtesy return passes to people who need to reschedule. Connecticut DMV says customers should also expect delays.
And the outage is also causing issues with how businesses are operating, from banks to takeout restaurants and even cafes.
Many are being forced today to make adjustments in light of this situation. CBS 2's John Diaz has that.
Alerts are taped in the window of the TD Bank at the corner of 57th and 3rd Avenue, warning their systems are temporarily down. The issue forcing customers to use only the ATM. So were you able to do what you had to do at the bank?
No. But banking is certainly out. That's going to affect people.
In a statement, TD Bank said it's, quote, working hard to restore all online banking and other impacted systems. New Yorkers say TD Banks aren't the only ones dealing with issues. So is Chase.
So I went to 3 different Chases.
And Debbie Moore of Canarsie, Brooklyn can't pay a bill in time due to the global disruption.
I couldn't go online. I couldn't go into my bank.
While some self-checkout kiosks in stores and pharmacies aren't working due to the technical issues, screens in Starbucks are also down. So is the option to order ahead using its app, causing long lines inside their cafes.
So this reminds me of Y2K that was supposed to happen back then.
Customers trying to order ahead from Chipotle are also reporting issues. And LabCorp, one of the largest clinical laboratory networks in the world, posted on social media its systems are down, which impacts certain business operations. A business expert saying that we shouldn't be focusing on the how or why, but instead the what if, saying that no business is actually immune to this type of incident.
You have to have a contingency plan.
Business specialist Paul Astor says even though many smaller companies and stores weren't impacted by this, it should still serve as a reminder to have business interruption insurance. And
this is a huge wake-up call for businesses to reevaluate their IT plans.
From the Upper East Side, John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
And even Times Square was not spared. A live look right now from EarthCam. At least one billboard is still out. This morning, several digital screens went dark for hours. Most of them eventually came back on by late afternoon. And we have more coverage throughout the hour coming up at 5:30. How long it could take for airlines to get back to normal. Plus, on our website, we have responses from FedEx and UPS on how this is affecting deliveries. That and more on CBSNewYork.com.
So many people hit by this today. So many.
One glitch.
Yeah. Yes. One single, and all the dominoes just fell.
There it goes.